It's really difficult. It's really difficult to try to hold a unbiased opinion about all 32 teams. I think that above everything, I want every team in the NFL to succeed. I want every team in the NFL to have a good team. I want every team in the NFL to be competitive enough to maybe make the playoffs every single year. The Seattle Seahawks possibly just made the worst trade in franchise history, sending Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos for Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and a dude named Shelby. A couple first-round picks, a couple second-round picks, and a fifth-round pick in there for Russell Wilson. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And listen, if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, I'm flummoxed. I'm flabbergasted. Because here's the thing. If Denver was so quick to bench Drew Lock for a guy who was just about as average in Teddy Bridgewater, why in the hell, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, does that equal the value of Russell Wilson? Why add it in with Noah Fant, who has been an okay tight end for the past couple years, a defensive lineman in Shelby Harris, a couple first-round picks, which in history of the Seattle Seahawks will tell you they're probably going to trade back out of the first round with those first-round picks. And even if they do use the picks, the guys that they select are more than likely not going to pan out. So there's a chance that we are looking at this trade in 3 years where you traded Russell Wilson for Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris, as well as some busts in the first round, guys who don't pan out in the second round, and maybe a fifth-round pick who becomes a starter. This just doesn't make any sense. You didn't get any of the offensive linemen from Denver, which is the position, obviously, of need. You didn't get any secondary pieces, which is an obvious position of need. Didn't get any defensive linemen outside of Shelby Harris. You probably could have got Bradley Chubb as a pass rusher. You didn't get any... Like, what? Who does this trade help if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan? And listen, I've grown up my whole life in a family that loves the Seattle Seahawks. And I've heard them complain so many times about Russell Wilson as a quarterback, whether it's throwaways, whether it's him running out of the pocket to make magic happen. Listen, Russell Wilson is the greatest player in Seattle Seahawks franchise history. The greatest player ever. The only reason that they have a Super Bowl trophy is because of Russell Wilson. Yes, his stats weren't what they were now when he was winning that Super Bowl. And yes, they did lose the Super Bowl off of an interception by Russell Wilson against the New England Patriots. But they neither have a Super Bowl trophy nor go to 2 straight Super Bowls without Russell Wilson. You have to understand that the quarterback carousel before Russell Wilson came around, if you're not a Seattle Seahawks fan, consisted of names of Tarvaris Jackson, Charlie Whitehurst, and Matt Flynn was signed to be the veteran quarterback to take this team to the next level the same year that they drafted Russell Wilson. Let me just talk about the Broncos for a second, because they obviously won this trade hand over fist. With an actual competent quarterback now in Russell Wilson, a team who went 7-10 last year has a chance with, if they improve the offensive line, and even if the offensive line doesn't play great, that's the sort of luxury that Russell Wilson gives you. Not only that, even without Noah Fant at tight end, which is obviously a huge loss for the Denver Broncos, he still has Jerry Jeudy. He still has Cortland Sutton. They could sign somebody else in free agency, aka Allen Robinson, or shoot, maybe they sign Gronk. I don't know. Denver is going to be a playoff team next year just because that's what Russell Wilson does for your team. Every healthy year for the Seahawks where Russell Wilson was the quarterback, they made the playoffs or at least were right there at the end of the season. This just I can't get it out of my head that this is the worst trade, not only in Seahawks history. This is the least value gained for a superstar player that we've seen in the NFL in a very, very long time. And I mean superstar. I don't mean really good left tackle or above average tight end or really good corner. Russell Wilson is one of the top 5 to 10 players in the NFL. We saw what the Seattle Seahawks looked like last year in the 6-7 games that they didn't play with Russell Wilson. The only games that they were competitive in losses were against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I can't be alone in this assumption, right? I can't be the only one that thinks this. There has to be other people that think this, right? This is just bad. And I get it. The Seahawks had no first-round picks. I get it. They needed ammunition, but their track history is that they trade their first-round picks and trade out of the first round. So this is also a move. If you're a member of the season ticket selling committee, I guess is what the name of that would be for the Seattle Seahawks. This is the type of move that loses you season ticket holders. This is literally the kind of move that does it. And this is going to be a rough fan base for the next, because there's not a quarterback in this draft that you could take that even comes close to what you're kidding me. Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, Malik Willis. There's not a single guy in the draft this year that can come close to Russell Wilson, not only in talent but in value to your franchise. Russell Wilson is the most talented player the franchise has ever seen, outside of maybe... no, he's more talented than Steve Largent. Jerry Rice was on the team, but that was his last year ever. Sean Alexander is really talented, but it was for a 6-year period. Russell Wilson is the best player in franchise history. He's the most valuable player in franchise history. He is the only reason, not the only reason, he is the main reason why the Seattle Seahawks have one Super Bowl trophy and went to 2 in a row. It's just bad. I don't really know how to end this. This didn't really have a start either. But yeah, if you think I'm wrong, let me know, because I'm searching for answers. I am literally scouring the earth for reasons. I'm watching Game Pass to try to convince myself that Drew Lock can replace Russell Wilson. Yeah, I guess that's the video. But yeah, the Seahawks, they just made the worst trade possibly in NFL history.